Darlene here. Just going to share some things from my day and then take you on a tour of my garden. So let's go. I've been busy this morning. I made 2 loaves of banana bread and cooked my husband some gizzards. We have some hamburger thawing out for later today. And I got my new grow light that I told you about yesterday all set up, and I moved my sweet potatoes over here so that they could be under the grow light, and my lettuce and lemon balm is here too. These have been, I don't know if they're ever going to sprout. We'll see. They take a long time. And yesterday I showed you how I put dirt in all of this and water. I did go ahead and plant. I've got both peppers and tomatoes in here. And I see that it's staying moist by using the dome. So that isn't totally airtight, but that's okay. It seems to be working. That's a mint that's still living, and these are, it's not doing as well, but a couple of them are. It's a basil. That I believe is a mint, and I think this is probably, that's last year's eggplant that never did get big enough to make me some eggplants. And I bought a fig plant at the store a couple of weeks ago. Hasn't been that long ago, a week and a half maybe. And it just had some little buds, but it's leafing out. So I'll keep a close eye on it. I might have to plant it in a pot at some point, but it's doing okay for right now. And I'm always rearranging all of these so that they take the best opportunity for the light. And these are radish, mostly radish and peas and fruit flies. Okay, so I've got all this up here. And so my cabbage, it came up, but it died. I had this one here that's cabbage, and this isn't labeled, but it might have been also. I thought I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to replant my cabbage. Oh, and the other thing I'm doing today is making some yogurt. I almost ran out of yogurt. I put yogurt, the recipe I used for my banana bread calls for yogurt. I almost didn't have enough, but waiting for this to, looks like it's just about there for me to put the starter in. Then this is my starter, and I take this and put it in that, and then it goes for 8 hours. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day, so I thought I'd bring you along with me while I feed my worms. It's about 50 degrees out here, which is not too cold, not hot particularly, but it isn't too cold. And hopefully I'm showing you the sun shining on my camera, so I can't really see what I'm recording, but I'm pointing it the right direction. And I was just down in here messing around. The worms I left it open while I went in to get the camera, so you probably can't. Can you see the worms there? Is that? Yeah, you can see the worms. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dig down a little further here. And I see a little bit of food matter still down in here, but mostly it's just the leaves and stuff that was on top. Okay, so first I put some eggshells down in here. And then I'm gonna, my hand is all icky. I should have worn gloves, but I didn't. And then I'm gonna put some food in here. I'll try to do that one-handed. And let's see, I've got a little bit more. I need to make sure I save some for the other bin. But I'll go ahead and put that in. And then I'm going to put some coffee grounds in. And I'll do the same with the other bin. I'll put eggshells, food, coffee grounds. And then I covered it all back up with cardboard and newspaper. So let's see what the other bin looks like. I've got some. Well, and I forgot to tell you that I have leaves in here too to help protect. The thing I don't like here is I've got slugs. I'll pull that out. Just one big slug there. I don't see any more. Threw them out in. It's because everything's a bit damp. So I don't. That's why I'm not worried about hurrying here. Because a little bit of air is going to help these a bit. There's another slug. I do not like slugs. We don't have that many slugs here, really. Ooh, a nice worm crawling around in there. Yeah, we're good. We got worms. We got worms. I don't know if you can see them in the camera. This is my newer bin. The other bin I started at the beginning of last summer. This one I just started in the fall. Yeah. And looks like what I've got as far as scraps is like paper products. So, all right. So I can use both hands. I'm going to turn my camera back off. And I'm going to follow the same procedure. Eggshells, food scraps, coffee grounds, leaves, and then the cardboard and newspaper on the top. So, happy worms, happy life. In a month or so, I need to get out here and strain all of this so that I can get the worm poop out, so I can use it in my garden and do some maintenance. But for now, they're just going to get fed. So I noticed my garlic is trying to come up. You can see it. Garlic is coming up, and that's okay. It's fairly well mulched there, and it'll be fine, even if it gets cold again. And I have leaves in all these sacks. I'm not going to dig under my plastic today. It's all intact. It's not. Well, I see some green leaves under there under my cabbage plant, so I know that my cabbage plant is still alive. And probably in about a month I'll start thinking about uncovering it and putting compost in it and, really preparing it for planting. And my plants that are indoors in my grow room will be ready to plant out by then. So let's walk around the yard and see what all we've got. We've got irises coming up. That's good. The raspberries aren't showing signs of life yet. It's a little early. But the irises along the ground there are looking good. Over in that one corner, over there, I've got mint plants that they haven't spread to places I don't want, but I'm going to have to move them because we're putting in a different air conditioning unit, and that part of the ground will be needed, right in front of the window will be needed for the outside part of that. So I will be moving those. I think it's a chocolate mint blackberries are, well, some of the branches are green, but along here, I need to come out here when it's a little warmer and take care of all the grass that's growing up in here. It just doesn't want to go away. So that's all that's there. All right, this one area of the yard, every year I have a whole bunch of tulips that come up. And then when they stop blooming, then the husband comes along with the lawnmower, and the first time he mows the lawn, well, maybe not the first time, but after a few times, when they seem to be all done, they just become part of the yard. But for right now, it looks like they're well on their way to showing us that spring is on its way. This is the pile of wood from one of our trees blew down in one of the windstorms we had, and it blew all the right direction and blew out into the yard. Excuse me. So it didn't hurt the fence or anything, and you see it's on the other side of the fence now. The neighbor came and helped us, and we're giving him all of the wood, and he'll have wood chips and logs for his fireplace. And then, see, right here is where that one came down, and then we had him cut this one down because it was as dead as that one was, and we knew that it's better for it to be cut down than to fall down. So here's my compost pile, and I'm hoping, part of it's been there for over a year, so I'm hoping that down at the bottom we've got some good compost. And I probably should have put a tarp over it, but I didn't, so it is what it is. And my garden beds, I haven't decided exactly what's going to get planted in them this year. I will decide that at some point. Oh, and I see that one has an onion coming up in it. There's a couple over here. I think that might be grass. So this is where I planted some carrots in those deep ones. And I thought I had it protected. They came up nice, and then first really cold spell, they died. Oh, that looks like an onion down in there too. So that's good. So we'll come around here. I'll leave the camera running because hopefully I see some daffodils coming up over here. I'm not seeing them yet. Interestingly, there should be a whole bunch of daffodils along here. There's one. And another one that I'm going to move this out a little bit. There's some along in here. There should be some there too. But they're probably under the leaves. Still, if I dug down in there, I'd probably see them. But definitely here. And here. And a couple of other spots. And this needs a lot of maintenance, as you can see. The grass likes to grow up in here. Oh, here's more. Oh, good. It's going to have a pretty little bunch here. Yes, that looks good. Last year I planted these pampas grasses. I don't know. I think they probably died. Time will tell. And that mountain cherry tree, I think, died too. But here's more daffodils. That one might be a tulip coming up there. And there. Yes. So we're going to have some color here pretty soon. Oh, there's a nice bunch. I think along in here, last year there might have been one plant, but you know, it kind of propagates itself. There's more there and there. And oh yes, we're gonna have a bunch. Oh yes, it's gonna be so pretty. In a month or so, we're gonna have all kinds of daffodils. Yes. Oh, and lots of them over here. There always is. There's a little more every year. And I think that might be a leftover garlic, but I couldn't swear to it. There's daffodils there. And some iris. And more daffodils. I'd have to, I don't know if you can see it. Probably have to reach down. There we go. So it feels good to walk around my yard. Let me look and see what's over here. Well, you can see my daisies are starting to perk up. Oh, and the wind blew this heavy eagle over. You know, we had some strong wind. So let me turn the camera off and get him fixed. Okay, I've got some mint coming up in there. The eagle, he wasn't really that heavy. That's why he blew over. And some daffodil or tulips, and some other kinds of plants. And my what is it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's coming up. And that one iris plant's quite big. I need to walk over here and pick up the top part of the bird bath. Okay. Yeah, so we got all kinds of signs of life in there. And I'll need to come out here and pull out all these dead stems at some point, but not yet. Last year, if you look, beginning part of summer, I made a bottle tree out there. Well, it started looking pretty shaggy, so I just threw it all in here by the fence. So it looks pretty terrible right now, but we have a few warmer days. I'll come out and decide where I want to put it this year and make myself a better bottle tree. But right now it's just sitting there being ugly. There's some tulips coming up in there. And some, I don't know, remember what it's called. I've looked it up several times and I always forget. And these are my blueberries. And I see they have little buds on them. You can see it in the camera. And what do we got under here? Oh yeah, some bulbs coming up. That's good. Bulbs coming up there. Yes, that's good. Alright. Yep. Things coming up. All kinds of signs of life. Indications that spring is coming. Oh, and yesterday, when you were looking at my sweet potato plant, remember I had the little things coming up that I didn't know what they were? I think I have decided that that's the same thing as this, and this is California poppy. So I think that's what I'm growing in with my sweet potatoes, is California poppy. So I'm out here on what we call the mound, and I think those are tulips actually that are coming up there. Could be daffodils. I planted both if I remember right. You can see I have a lot of cleanup to do from last year's growth, but anyway, those are daffodils for sure. My ground cover is looking really nice, and probably about a month or so, it's going to go to bloom, and it will be brilliant yellow. My irises need to be cleaned out. I have a wild rose in there, and a black-eyed Susan, and I forget what it's called, but it's a nightshade. No, not a nightshade. What am I thinking? Maybe nightshade is not the right word. Anyway, it's a plant that's poisonous, but it's got pretty blooms on it. I'm undecided if I'm going to try to eradicate it or if I'm just going to make sure it doesn't spread. And my mint, I think it's cat mint or some kind of mint down there, is growing quite nicely in that clump. And that one. And, oh, my borage is coming up nicely. That's good. I thought maybe I had lost that. But obviously I didn't. That is good. What do I have here? More of my ground cover. And some daffodils. And some hens and chicks that I transplanted from, it kind of got accidentally dug up from a different location when we were doing some work on Christmas lights, and so I moved it over here, and it looks like it's doing just fine. And over here, all of our irises are popping out. One of these years I need to pull out all the old stuff. It seems to do just fine whether I do that or whether I don't. And wow, standing right here, I can feel the sun. It feels really good. So, and I've got, that's coming up. That's a pretty pink flower. I see fly away home bug, ladybug there. If you can see it in the camera. And these are mostly tulips and daffodils, mostly tulips, some daffodils. Okay, and right in here, I see there's some bulbs coming up. Those are new. I planted those. I can tell that one's a tulip, so I don't remember. I planted some hyacinths too. I'd never had hyacinths before. So tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, and I've never had them in this area before, so they're, looks like they're coming up nicely. That pleases me. So it feels so good to be able to, I'm gonna just step over this one instead of opening it if I can. Well, maybe I can't. Oh, I need to put the camera down. Well, that felt really good to be able to walk all the way around my yard, to share that with you, like I used to do last summer. You could see I have a lot of work to do out there, but I have a lot of time ahead of me before summer gets here too. And days like today are just a little too cold to stay out for very long. Oh, if I was younger, I probably could, but I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to the cold weather. Pardon me. Anyway, that's what I had to share with you today, and it was really fun. So I want to thank you for watching. May the good Lord richly bless you. I will see you on the next video.